It's Rancho 49, coming to you for the first time with something a little bit different, I think. Something that I'm probably, well, I may do again, may not, This is going to be episode 1 of my RPG vlog. Started talking about, showed a D&D book the other day and started looking through my role-playing games. Been a role player ever since I was in probably the 8th or ninth grade. I'm 52 now, so that'll give you an idea on how long that's been going on. But one of the games, probably my favorite game of all time, is this. I don't know if y'all can see that. This is TSR's Marvel Advanced Role-Playing Game System. If you all played it before, remember this this table here. Everything goes off of this. Real simple system to play. Well, the only thing, and I tell you that this system is really good for superhero role-playing game. But the thing that I don't like it with any game. That if somebody has a bad day with the dice and they roll bad, they suffer for the rest of the campaign. Sometimes they just quit, because their character is just awful. And then contrary-wise to that, you get somebody that just rolls just awesome on everyone, and then you've got this group, and you've got this one guy, and he's able to do everything, and everybody else is just trying to get in there and do something. And it just isn't. That's why I've always liked, point-based building systems better. Fifth Edition's got one. If you look at it, I've been looking at that. I've got some ideas on that too that I may go over, as far as running a zero-level campaign. And that'll be a different episode. What I want to talk about today is it's not a point system per se. I've looked at Marvel as closely as trying to figure out how much karma to give somebody, and then have them start with typical stats and everything else, and then they can just spend that karma in the same way that tells you to spend karma towards experience in the game. But I don't know if it'd be 20,000, 30,000. So you could actually start out with a guy with all typicals, and they have all that karma. But getting away from that, I went to something with which I've used before for over the years. Well, one of the ways that we've offset those bad rolls is we would allow somebody to take one monstrous or two amazings, and then they would roll. And then they roll out whatever they had, and they could replace like some of their lower stats with monstresses, and that usually made it a little bit closer. But there still are some of those people that'll roll all feebles, and then the other person will roll all amazings and incredibles. To offset that completely, here's what I've come up with. It's a three-step process here. The first step is what you're going to do is you're going to take the regular character sheet. I'm sure that anybody that's played this game remembers this character sheet. And you're going to fill this in with these stats as I give them to you. Step 1, of course, is still going to be one monstrous or two amazings. Step 2 is going to be 3 incredibles or 4 remarkables. And step 3 is going to be 3 excellents or 7 goods. Now when I say filling in these stats, I'm talking about you're filling in your face rip stats, up to 5 powers, up to 4 talents, and up to 5 contacts. Okay, so and your resource is also going to count for 1. So if you want to start out with, say you want to start out with a monstrous resource, everything else is going to be over here, but that could be your 1 monstrous. If that's what you want your character to have, then that's what you can have. when you start buying talents, what I've done is that you're trading the goods, like an excellent equals 2 goods, and a good equals 1 talent or 2 contacts. So what you're going to do is you're just going to fill in these. You're still got the same maximums, 5 powers here according to the regular player's book, 4 talents here, and 5 contacts here. But you're limited by these stats. You use them wherever you want to use them, and if you don't have, if you've got a stat there that doesn't have anything put in front of it, then that's going to be a typical. So, I've done some working with this, and I made my character, the character that I've wanted to play forever, and there's no players in this area that play this. Although this at one time this was a big game. But my character didn't come out as good as I wanted him to come out, because I had him and he had a lot more different things that he could do, but he was acceptable. What I'm wanting, and I don't know, probably all GMs to a certain extent want this, is you want a character that can play on about a Spider-Man level. If you start getting characters that are much higher than that, then you're going to have to use you're limited with what villains you can use, and you'll have to use villains that, especially if you've got. I tell you the worst thing is to have one person that has, say, monstrous body armor, and then one person that has none and low hit points, because you can take that other person out with one hit, whereas you didn't even make a dent on Adamantium Man or whoever he is. But this here to me is a short, easy way to make your character quickly. All you need is one of these character sheets. These come in the book. You make copies of it. It's on like the last page of the book, and then you just fill in the blocks. Well, I want my guy to have an amazing strength, so if I have one amazing, then I have to find something else for the other amazing. And you can actually have an amazing fighting and an amazing strength. That would actually be an amazing character. But then what's your power is going to be down here too, because you've already used your 2 amazing. Because your hit points are going to be high and everything, but your power is going to be down here. Those are the decisions that you make, and I think with this system here, I think that you're going to be limited enough that your GM is going to be able to handle it. Another thing to keep aware is you don't have to spend 2 amazings. Like say you take a power that's worth 2, like probability manipulation is 2 slots. Now you do have to spend one of your amazings to do it, but you don't have to spend 2. But you do have to spend 2 of your powers. You've got 5 maximum powers, so if you take probability manipulation, that'll only leave you 3 more slots for powers. So that's one of the things you'll have to keep in. What you want in the end effect is you want to make sure that anything that you have empty, as far as your stats, and I think your resources over here is 1. Popularity, of course, is going to start at what it starts at, and any of your powers, if they don't have anything next to them, then that's going to be typical. So, anyway, let me go over this one time, and I want to shine this notebook in the screen for a few seconds so that y'all can write this down if you need to. Hit pause on it. But step 1 is 1 monstrous or 2 amazings. So you choose which one of the 2 that you want of that. Step 2 is 3 Incredibles or 4 Remarkables. And step 3 is 3 Excellents or 7 Goods. When you're start doing your talents, 1 Excellent can equal 2 Goods, and 1 Good can equal a talent or 2 contacts. So that'll be how you spread out that. I've done some, like I said, I've made 1 character with this, and I like the way that it turns out. If anybody else has ever played this game, anybody else is interested in this this wonderful, like I said, the fact that you have your experience points can be used to adjust die rolls is kind of really makes it an equal growing field, an equal field, where you know, how in a comic book, Spider-Man will win if it's his comic. Say he's taking on the Hulk, he will win if it's his comic book, and the Hulk may come back and just tear him up if it's in his comic book. Well, that kind of ambiguity or ability for either one of them to overtake is able to be done in this through karma. You know, you're using a hundred-sided dice or two tens, and you're adjusting that with the amount of karma you spend. Say you have 100 karma. Say, I want to make sure I get a red feed on this. Well, you roll that dice, and if it's short of that, you just spend that much karma to make it up to the minimum amount to make that, and then you're in. You know, it really kind of swings things, and it really is good. I really like that one part of it, and I've seen that with other things like where you can spend a fate point. I believe the new Dungeons and Dragons has that through. Don't get me to line. I can't remember what it is, but the GM will award these points, and you can use them one time to adjust the tie roll. I think it may give you advantage. I think it may give you advantage is what it does, which advantage is pretty powerful. But that's all I've got to say on this. This is the like I said, this is the TSR Advanced Marvel Superheroes Role-Playing Game System. This came out in the 80s. I played this big when I was in Korea, stationed in Osan, and the Osan Air Base actually has or they did back in the 80s, they had a gaming that had a charter and everything. I hope the fact that they had a charter means that they're still going today. I'd like to, if anybody has been stationed in Osan over the last few years, I'd like to hear to see if that gaming group is still going over there. That'd really encourage me, because I haven't been in Korea since 1987 or 88. So you're talking about a long time ago. And a lot can happen over that time, but they did have a charter in that, and sometimes, you know, having some kind of formal contract like that, where they can, maybe that kept them going. Hope it did. I really do hope it did. Had a lot of enjoyment. I mean, there were times that I would spend I'd sleep on they have a couch in there. I'd sleep on the couch rather than going back to my room, and then I'd wake up and they'd be playing something. Whatever they were playing, I'd get into it. Played lots of different types of games, a few board games. Back in the 80s, they had like maybe just Avalon Hill had a bunch of games, and we had Cosmic Encounters, and we had I think we had Talisman, and that's about it. That's it. I had the Dune game. I've heard Chicho talk about the Dune game. I've played that a whole bunch. But anybody that has been stationed in Osan Air Base, or been stationed in Suwon, or any of those other, because they take buses back and forth, had people coming from Army bases just to do this. Anybody that's been there, I'd like to hear from them and see if that group is still going. If you have, then leave a comment. I'd really like to connect with you and find that out. Anyway, this episode here is mainly just to show you my shortcut for making the games, rather than having to use die rolls to make your character where, if you roll bad. The thing about rolling bad, if you roll it in a game while you're playing the game, your character can mess up and he can goof up and everything, and eventually it's going to come around and he's going to have a day where he just runs the show. But if you do it on the day that you make your character, it can ruin your game for the rest of the rest of the time that you have him. And that can be funny to a certain extent, unless you got somebody on the other end that's just, they had the best day of their life on that day. And they're just like, Superman and Green Lantern all in the same man. Anyway, this is my shortcut. I'm going to hold this in front of the camera for a little bit, and y'all can look at that and maybe write that down or whatever. I think it'll benefit you. This, like I've said, we've used the step one a lot in addition with the rolling, and then when you get to pick your powers, you can also pick I think one of them is raise lowest ability. That's 20 points to a typical. So there's a lot of things you can do with this. And if y'all have systems, I'd be interested in hearing them too. Like I said, I looked a lot of time at karma being the thing that you would use, and you'd use just the advancement rules in the player's handbook to do that. Now, when I say that I'm doing this, I'm not using Realms of Magic and the Ultimate Powers book, because I think that some of the powers are just, even at a lower rank, they're overpowered to something that's at a high rank in the others. And that's the same with this too. One of the basic things that you're trying to offset is body armor. Somebody that has a monster's body armor, or somebody that has a monster's attack. I mean, that's one of the things that you have to offset, because if your other characters can't hit a villain that has monster's body armor, then they're going to be just basically left out. Anyway, that's all I've got for that. Thank you for your time.